All right, we are back. This is NHL 20 Franchise Mode Calgary Flames. This is episode number 30. Welcome back to our franchise mode here at the Flames in NHL 20, and welcome to what is going to be a very interesting next couple of episodes, starting here with episode 30, because if you missed episode 29, the last episode, highly recommend you go check it out, because definitely one of the most, I don't know how you even want to describe that episode, one of the most chaotic episodes, in terms of, the way that we simmed and what all went on. We ended up firing our entire coaching staff after probably the worst stretch of hockey that we've seen this team play under our tenure. It was something else, to say the least. First of all, this is our fourth year, obviously, as the GM of the Calgary Flames. We've obviously made it to the playoffs in our first 3 seasons, including making it all the way to the Western Conference Finals last year. The year before that, I believe we made it to the second round. Actually, I think we made it to the second round both years before that. But made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, and then this was supposed to be a big year for the Calgary Flames, and you can see it started here in October. Where are we here? This is this September? No, this is October. All right, so you can see, it started here with our opening day was here against the LA Kings, and the reason I'm bringing you back here is I just want to show you, October and what happened in October here, and see if we can figure out why on earth the wheels just came off and what happened here. So first of all, October here, not a bad month for the Calgary Flames. 7-4-1 in this month. Up to this Columbus game where we lost. Now, we did end up losing the last 3 games of that month, which obviously hurt our record a bit, but still 7-4-1 through 12 games in that month. Not bad. We sat first place. That was the main thing. We sat first place here at the end of the month of October, first place in our division. I think we were, third in the NHL or something like that. So not bad for 12 games. We were struggling offensively. I believe by this point we were about 15th in the league, around there anyway, in goals for. Our power play was struggling as well, but the bright side was our PK was doing really well. I think it was 5th in the league at that point. Then we got into the month of November here, and that's when things really started to go poor here. So what happened is we went up to this Toronto game here where we lost 7-1. Now, from that Winnipeg game right here, on the first of the month, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 games exactly. In those 10 games, our record was 2-8-0. 2-8-0 in 10 games to start off the month of November. That obviously is what did it. That was a horrible stretch there, I should say. Not even divisional games in there, just losses to a lot of teams. Like, I mean, look at this. I guess that's a lot of loss. I guess we won that game against Montreal, but I mean, you're looking at the Caps, the Pens, the Senators, the Panthers, Jets, obviously the Leafs there, and then the Jets and the Wild here again. Like, I mean, it's incredible how we had such a bad stretch, and I know it's only 10 games, but considering that we played 12 games in October, that's almost the same amount of games as we played just up to this Toronto game. And the reason I say up to this Toronto game is this 7-1 loss is what did it for me. After 2-8-0 stretch. Again, I don't know where we had definitely sunk in the standings by that point. I don't know exactly where we were, but I made the decision on the 21st of November, I should say here. I made the decision to officially fire our head coach. I think his name was B. Fucali. We decided after 3 years, he was our head coach the entire time that we've been here in franchise mode. After 3 years, including making it to the playoffs every single year and the Western Conference Finals last year, we did decide to fire our head coach and move on. And it wasn't just our head coach. Over the rest of this month, so after that game against the Leafs, so we fired our head coach, and then we went on a 3-4-0 record, which takes us up to where we are currently today on the 7th of December. So again, 7-4-1 in the month of October, not bad. Then 2-8-0 in November, so we fire our head coach, and then 3-4-0 for the rest of the month and the early couple games here in December. 3-4-0, not that great either. Yes, we got 3 wins, almost 500, but just below 500 there, including losing our last 3 here. The Jets beating us again, a 4-0 shutout to the St. Louis Blues, a 4-2 loss here to the divisional rivals in the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, you can't. I don't even know what to say. You can't make this up. It really could not get worse than what it was here. And now, obviously, when we look at the standings here, you can see where we sit there in our division. 25 points through 30 games. We've obviously played the most games of anybody in our division, and we sit comfortably 7th place in our division. Again, a team that went to the Western Conference Finals last year, a team that should be contending heavily to win a Stanley Cup. If you look at our status in this game, we're listed as a championship status, meaning that we are one of the few teams in the league right now that should be considered strong contenders for the Stanley Cup, and we're sitting 7th in our division, well out of a playoff. So now, I mean, not well. Again, the big thing about distress in this episode here is it's not time to panic just yet. We are 30 games into the season, and if you do look at the Canucks, who sit atop our division, 36 points, they're just 11 points ahead of us. And I know that seems like a lot, but really it's not. If we could get on a good streak here, we could close that gap a lot faster. 11 points is not that far ahead. And again, they played 29 games, so it's only one less game than we've played. It's going to take a long time, but and a lot of winning to get back near the top of our division, but it's not impossible. Like, our season's not written off. I know they say, if you're not in the playoffs, and especially if you're where we are by American Thanksgiving, which was like a week or two ago in this game, then you're probably not making the playoffs. We still have that chance. Again, look at the St. Louis Blues in 2019. It's not impossible at all. We're not as far as St. Louis was out of it either. But it's just, it's just shocking. I think the biggest thing about the last episode was just how shocking it was, considering the roster we have too. And then the most bizarre thing about this, and I'm going to go into stats here. I'm going to start with team stats because we were talking about it. But the most bizarre thing is just how good of a team we actually do have that we built, especially coming into this year, and how bad we're doing. So again, I just want to look here at our league stats here for a second, because I just want to show you how bad we are actually struggling here. So we're going to go by goals for per game, because it is different amount of games played. So let's go by this number here for the highest amount of goals scored per game. So obviously Detroit leads the way, Edmonton there as well. But let's go from the bottom up. And when we go bottom up, you can see there we are 3rd worst in the NHL in goals for per game. So like I said, at the end of October, we sat about 15th in this category. It was a slight problem. You're about halfway in the league in that terms of that category. We now sit 29th in the NHL in that place. So 3rd last in the NHL. So our goal scoring has just significantly declined right from opening day. I mean, again, I didn't look at our stats in October until the end of the month, but I'm wondering if we declined, in goal production, or we just didn't have that goal production. Again, this is so bizarre because for us to be now 30 games in is a good sample size, and for us to be sitting a 3rd worst in the NHL with the roster we have, and we'll take a look at our lines here in a second and our players. But I mean, it's absolutely, it just blows my mind. We have such a good and lethal offensive team. We have such a heavy top 6. Some guys that really did some. We've had guys that, again, we'll look at the lines here in a second, but guys that have been hitting 50 to 60 points every single year. And again, I don't know. It blows my mind how we're this bad in terms of goals for per game. When you look at goals against per game, let's go by that. Shall we? Here's goals against per game. Again, best team in the league, Minnesota Wild, with a 2.29 goals against per game. Where do we stand here? I don't think we were as far down. I think we're about halfway. No, we're a lot further than I thought. So there we are. Probably in the bottom half here. Let's go by worst to best here. All right, you're looking at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12th worst in the NHL in terms of goals against. Not as bad as goals for, but still not good either. And again, this one is also bizarre and mind-blowing because we have the reigning Vezina Trophy winner in Jordan Binnington. Now, this is not all on Jordan Binnington. We'll get to that in a second here. This definitely is on the defensive core and the players in front of Binnington. But Binnington hasn't been playing his best either. But again, we can't blame Jordan Binnington just for this. But yeah, you can see we're struggling like in every category. Power play. Our power play was struggling in the month of October, but it was not this bad. Again, here's the top power play, Edmonton. We go by the worst power plays. There we are. There we are. 5th worst in the NHL in terms of power play. Again, that has a lot. That's connected a lot with the offense. Once your offense is fixed, then your power play will probably get fixed a little bit. So yeah, I mean, that's bizarre. Again, how we have such a bad power play with the roster we have. But here's the most bizarre stat. Do you remember I said that we had the 5th best PK in the NHL at the end of the month of October? 5th best, okay? Take a look at where we sit right now. dead last in the PK in the NHL. How do we go in not even a month and a couple games? So we played about 2 or 3 games into December. So how do we go in those, whatever, how many did we play? Like 15, almost 20 games after we were the 5th best PK in the league. We go down to the worst PK in the goddamn NHL. Like, how does that even make sense? 73.5% PK. Dead last. Like, I don't understand how the team just significantly, declined and fell down. It's mind-blowing to say the least. Let's take a look at some of our players and their offensive production. Again, struggling offensively this year. And this is the most bizarre thing. You look at a guy like Johnny Gaudreau, and I'm not going to go in every player here, but I'm just going to go for an example into Johnny Gaudreau's stats here. So look at his last few regular seasons here. Almost 80 points last year, 30 goals. Over 30 goals and 75 points the year before that. Almost 90 points and 50 goals in that year before that. That was his best year. 99 points the year before that. We know that. I mean, really good stats every single year. Now he's got 21 points in 30 games. He is not going to be even close to on pace for, somewhere between 80 to 100 points, where he's been, the last how many years. He is not going to be close to that. And that's the type of production that not only Johnny Gaudreau's been putting up, but a lot of our other top players have been putting that up too. Now, not to the extent of Gaudreau, but a guy like Lindholm's been putting up 60 points, north of 60 points a year, north of 20 goals. A guy like Monahan has been hitting close to 30 goals, north of 60 points. Mangiapane, we know what he's been doing the last how many years. Domi as well, he's been north of 50 to 60 points. Kachuk has been north of 50 to 60 points and almost 30 goals a year. And look at them all now. I mean, their production is significantly dropped off. Every single player here, in terms of offensive, because we're going by points right now, in terms of offensive production, every single player is significantly dropped off. We can go stat by stat. I mean, these guys are just not getting it done, and these are our top guys. When we go by plus minuses here, this is the scary thing here as well. Not bad in Valimaki Hanifin. They're having a decent season. Could be doing a little bit more offensively. Hanifin does have 18 points in 30 games. Not bad, but also I like their plus minuses there. That was our top pairing. We'll get to that in a second. But it's when we get down to down here. Here is our second pairing, consisting of Nicholas Hjalmarsson and Rasmus Andersson. -7 for Rasmus Andersson and a holy -16 for Nicholas Hjalmarsson, who was our big acquisition in free agency, if you do remember. And the reason we brought him in as a big acquisition here is because he's a goddamn defensive defenseman, and I don't see him getting that done. 89 there in defensive awareness stats, but what the hell is a -16 for a defensive defenseman? Like, I mean, I don't understand what the hell he is doing here. That pairing of him and Anderson is just struggling. So we'll get to that in a second here. Max Domi, who's been such a good two-way forward for us, he's struggling with a -9 rating. Gunnarsson struggling on that third pairing. You can see our top line really struggling as well. They're actually better than at what they were at one point. They're both -6 here in Johnny Gaudreau, Sean Monahan. But yeah, I mean, a lot of players just struggling. Obviously, a lot of players struggling offensively, but quite a few struggling defensively too. While we're in the screen, just quickly, we'll take a look here at Jordan Binnington here. And you can see Jordan Binnington, 28 games, 907, 297. You can see Talbot also 907 as well through 4 games. Talbot has yet to win a game. So he's been, but I mean, this we expected out Talbot. He's now 35 years of age. He's gone down to an 80. Binnington, again, you can't blame Jordan Binnington for all these games here. 907 is not the best. You probably want to see a little bit higher save percentage than that. But again, it's a reflection on how the team's playing in front of him. So, I mean, you can't blame Binnington in that. But it'd definitely be nice to see Binnington, step up his game as well. So, obviously, that's a lot of negativity in those stat screens. The second you click on this, whether you look at player stats or team stats, I mean, it reflects the way our record is. It's a lot of stuff you just didn't expect out of this team this year, and it just does not make sense. It really doesn't. We had such a good team, and I don't know what else to say. So, how do we go forward from here? So now, like I said, this is episode 30. We're going to start. From the what day is it? The 7th of December. There's still lots of hockey to be played left in this season. We're not out of it. Our goal is obviously still to make it to the playoffs, and then obviously win a Stanley Cup when we get there. It's not far fetched either when you look at the standings here. We're we're not that far out of it. Yes, it's going to take a lot of winning and you know, getting better in every single category, but we can definitely you know, pick it up from here. I mean, like I said, if you looked at this on a graph, if you looked at all of our categories, you know, goals for, goals against, power play, penalty kill, you know, team stats, everything, or player stats, I should say. If you looked at it on a graph, it would probably you see it significantly go downhill, right to the very bottom of the graph. But we have the ability to make that go up now. We have the ability to make everything, all those lines, trend upward instead of continuing to go down now from this point on, and still make it. So we just need to figure out how we're going to start moving forward here. So like I said, the first step in all of this was we fired and rehired our entire coaching staff. So I guess we should maybe just really quickly look at that. I spent a lot of the last episode in the coaching staff screen, and it was my first time, you know, playing around with hiring new coaches. I've never, well, it's new to this year's game in NHL 20, and I've just never had the need to hire new coaches. I don't know how it even affects this game, if it will make a big impact. I don't even know. Maybe we just fire a coach and it has no impact. I'm sure it does. I don't think they would put in this game for no reason. But you can see we completely retooled our entire coaching staff. So these, again, I'm not going to go, I don't know who our old coaches were. I fired them all. But we started off with firing our head coach, and then we hired a new head coach. You had to go one. The stupid thing is you had to go one by one. You couldn't fire all your coaches at once and then hire new ones, because you technically have no coaches. It only let us fire our head coach and then promote our assistant coach and onward. It was kind of stupid. Anyways, you can see this is our new head coach, this Jay Fichard guy. He's a defensive-minded coach, which obviously we need right now. I mean, we need everything, but he is a defensive-minded coach. Still has A offense, A+ defense. But yeah, I like this guy. I mean, he was the third best option out there besides the guy that we fired and this other guy that just continually didn't want to come to our team. Because he wants to be on a different building team, like more of a rebuilding team. But yeah, this guy's stats still pretty good. We're hoping he can turn it around. Now again, since the coaching changed, since he came in as our head coach, I don't know which day he officially signed in as our head coach, because it wasn't right after we fired our other guy. We had an interim head coach for a little bit there, but our team still not the best record, 3-4-0, but again, that's a very small sample size. So we'll give this guy a lot of time here to really, you know, bring his system in here and his defensive system. And then we hired this guy as our associate coach. This guy focuses more on the veterans, as you can see here, but he also has an A offense, A- power play. So yeah, I mean, he's more of a veteran. It says right there, helps your yeah, there's something else about him that I like though. But not bad for an associate coach. Again, one of the better associate coaches out there. So he'll be in there to help out with that. He's a teaching style, which is good. I think the thing it said is that this guy, because he helps the veterans. Again, I'm new to this coaching part of the game, but because he's a veteran coach, he helps to get your veteran players, to prevent them from declining so fast. So dropping off so fast. So that will go for guys like Michael Backlund, but it even goes now for guys like Johnny Gaudreau in this game, who's now, 28, 29 in this game, Monahan, Lindholm, a lot of these guys that are in their late 20s now, almost close to 30. I think the only guy that's in his 30s is Michael Backlund. That is still decent. Like, you could say Nicholas Jomerson, but he is just not a good player at all anymore, so there's no point of even focusing on a guy like Nicholas Jomerson. But when you look at, you know, some of our other guys, and then Jordan Binghamton would also be, you know, considered, I guess, a veteran as well. You know, any of those guys in their later 20s. So, I mean, it's good to have a guy like that. This guy's our AHL coach. I think we brought him in, but we also went out and tried to hire another assistant coach, and I think he still has to get back to us. But we're bringing in another assistant coach, and I think that assistant coach that we are bringing in, I think he's more offensive minded. So we got a head coach that's more defensive minded, an associate coach that is, you know, focusing on the veterans and more of a teacher, and then if we can get that other assistant coach that's a little bit more offensive minded, hopefully he can run the power play or something. Again, I don't know how it works, but again, if this is just this is a start. we had to flush out all of our coaching staff and bring in a whole new system. And I think that might be a start if it affects the game like it does in real life. Obviously, if that was real life, I mean, that's a huge, huge change to any team when you flush out every single coach you have and bring in a new system, new power play, new penalty kill, new everything. It definitely affects a team in real life. So we'll see if it does the same thing here in this game. Hopefully, we need a massive change here. So that's where we started. That's why I wanted to go into that quickly. That's where we started to make changes there and start to find a way to dig ourselves out of this hole. The other thing is our players. Now, I talked about it a bit at the last episode. The last episode, like I said, was a little chaotic. I might have panicked a little bit. It was just, it really caught me by surprise. Just the way that episode went and how bad we like I said, we just trended downward throughout that episode. But yeah, I mean, like I said, now we look at our players here. So this is what I did here. At the end of the last episode, I just threw everything back to opening day. I threw all of our lines back to opening day, except for I think I have Domi here instead of Mangiapane. But yeah, everything else is back to opening day. We're going to almost start from scratch here with our opening day roster. So we're going to go, like I said, last episode, we were really, really playing with our lines. I mean, we switched everything around. We threw Monahan down. We switched everybody around. I guess I got Backlund up here as well. Okay, so I guess things are not back to opening day, but they're close to opening day. Actually, no, they're not. They're not even close because I got Dylan Dubé playing center in the third line. All right, so we'll start with this. I mean, at this point, like I said, we're starting from scratch. It just there's not much we can do. So we're going to start Johnny Monty, Lindholm, Kachuk, Backlund. You're going to put him out second line center now. Domi moves over to the right side. We'll go with Bennett there. Dubé will come to center. He'll play center for the first time in his career. He is a natural center. We've played him on the right wing the last couple of years, but he is a natural center. Mangiapane drops down to right wing. He has not been playing well this year. I mean, nobody has, but we're going to try and get our offense going. I mean, we need to spark something in all three lines here. The fourth line is what it is, but we need to start sparking our top three lines here and getting something going. So I just made some changes there. Defensively, this was the big one. Like I said, our top pairing has always been Noah Hanifin and Juuso Välimäki. This was our top pairing. We have not touched this since opening day. For the first time ever, I have touched it. I've switched it around. I have put Välimäki on the second pairing, and I hate to do this because Hanifin and Välimäki are both such elite defensemen. They both belong on the top pairing. Not only are they good players now, but they're still growing. Like, I still want to put them there because look at Välimäki, 24 years of age and 25 years of age for Hanifin. They're still growing with their potential, so I want them to get the most ice time, but at the same time, this Anderson and Hjalmarsson pairing was so bad. Like I said, Hjalmarsson a -16, Anderson was a -7, and they struggled on a lot of nights. So we have to split them up. We have no choice. They were just so bad together that I'm hoping if we spread out Hanifin and Välimäki, it might fix the second pairing a little bit. And it's the same thing you'll see on the special teams here in a second. Bottom pairing, there's not much we can do with this bottom pairing. We've got, Gus Forsling who can come in for Gunnarsson here and there. But, I mean, this bottom pairing is what it is. They're not that great either. Yeah, we have to, right now it's in our top four. We've got to, play around with these combinations and get something going. So for the first time ever, I'm switching up the top four. Like I said, don't want to take Välimäki off that top pairing, but at the same time, I need to spread this out because that second pairing was just so bad for us. The other thing about Hjalmarsson is because he's playing so bad, I looked at our next option outside of this. So I mean, the first thing was to fire our head coach and fire our coaching staff. That was option number one. We did that. Option number two, which we just did now, is to switch up all of our lines and completely mess up our lines, which we just did now. The third option, and probably the final option here, for this season, is to go out externally from our team and make trades. And so I did look at that at the end of the last episode off camera. I looked at a few situations. Obviously, I mean, there's not one area we need to target. There's a lot of areas. Like, we have a lot of holes. Offensively, we have holes. Defensively, we have holes. You could even say in the goaltending department, if you want a good backup behind Binghamton, we have holes. So, I mean, we're not going to be able to fix everything, but, we are able to could go out there and patch one of these holes for now. We do have about $5 million to work with in salary, so I guess it's good that we saved ourselves salary in the summer because we're definitely going to need it. What I'm thinking here is the first thing we're going to do is, despite our offense being as bad as it is, What I think we're going to do from this point is let these guys figure it out. Like I said, it just does not make sense. These guys are just too good to be struggling, the way they are. And again, you can go in and look at all their, I'm not going to do that because it will take forever, but you can go in and look at all of their stats individually the past how many years. I mean, they are all players that, like, should be playing a lot better than they are now. It just does not make sense. Every single player on this roster should be doing better than what they are doing right now. So, I mean, you almost figure that something's got to give, that these guys have to be able to figure it out. So we're going to let our offense right now figure it out. For now, we're not going to go, the entire season and just say, hey, these guys are the guys that have to get it done for us. If things continue to go the way they are, which they have since October, where we were 15th in the league in offense, and then just trended down to, where were we? Just 5th worst or in the bottom 10, whatever there in offense. Obviously they haven't been getting it done all season. So if we have to, we're going to go out and make some changes. Now, again, there's not a lot we can do. It's not like we can just send all of these guys out and bring all new guys in. I mean, that's not possible. I mean, I don't know who here, just looking at this team right now, who we would, trade away. We would have to trade away somebody, I'm guessing, to bring in another player with offensive capabilities. Again, that's going to take a lot of dissecting. I'll have to do that off camera and really look at, who played for the best for us. A guy like Johnny Gaudreau, Sean Mott, you're not trading these guys because when you look at their stats, both regular season and playoffs, they have got it done every single year for us the past how many years. So these guys you're not getting rid of. I think the same goes for Matthew Tkachuk. You're not getting rid of these three guys here. You can look at Lindholm, Domi, Backlund, Mangiapane. You can look at these guys as maybe the next options, if we had to trade away somebody and bring in, some different offensive options. But right now, we're going to leave it up to these guys. These guys, like I said, they've got it done the last how many years for us. We're going to give them a little bit more time to see if they can turn things around this season offensively. Because, again, we're only 30 games in. Again, that is a good sample size, but maybe, we'll give them at least another 20 games. Look at the 50-game mark. Definitely before trade deadline, obviously. But we'll look at that for now, or we'll leave that as is for now. I think if we do make a trade, in this episode and soon here, it will be on the defense here. And I think I want to replace Nicholas Hjalmarsson again. It sucks because he was our big, our big free agent signing, if you will. He wasn't that big of a free agent signing, but he was supposed to plug this hole that Mark Giordano left. He has done an absolutely horrible job plugging that hole, especially as a defensive defenseman. He's just not got it done this year with a -16 rating, through 30 games, 2 points there. Again, we're not bringing him for offense, but he has just not got it done defensively. Like I said, we now sit with the worst goals against in the NHL, or the worst PK as well, and he was a heavy part of our PK, and not getting it done there either. So, I mean, I think if we do make one trade to start here, I think it's going to be to find a legit top 4 defenseman that can come into our top 4. That will have the ability for us to bump Hjalmarsson down here to the bottom pairing, where he probably belongs at an 81 and 35 years of age. He probably belongs here in the bottom pairing, instead of here in the second pairing, and then we can rotate these guys in the bottom pairing, but bring in a legit, top 4 defenseman to play with whoever up here, because these 3 guys are legit top 4 defensemen. We need a 4th one, and we need somebody with defensive capabilities. I thought that was Hjalmarsson in the offseason. Clearly, it is not. Just really quickly, I did go in and change up off screen. I changed up all of these, so I did retool our power play. Like I said, our power play continues to drop. It has not been good at all this season. I think it continued to drop since the last episode. So I did make some changes here, switched this all up, switched a lot of things around here. Brought some new players in, switched everything around, yada yada. Also the PK, like I said, we went from the 5th best PK at the end of October to the worst PK by early December. Like, I don't know how that happens. We had such good players here on the PK too, so I don't know how that happens, how, 1 month we just did so bad on the PK, but nevertheless, I had to make changes. The problem is we could not make too many changes here, because Monahan and Lindholm have to stay where they are, because they are our only our top 2, face-off guys. They have the best face-off ratings. Monahan is our best overall defensive player in terms of forwards. He has 91 defensive awareness there, 84 in the face-off circle, 89 and 91 there when you look at his defensive stats. He is the best all around. You will not get better than Sean Monahan when it comes to defensive stats on our team. Elias Lindholm has the next best face-off percentage at 83, or at face-off rating, I should say, at 83, and still decent defensive stats. He has to be there because a guy like Backlund, when you go to his face-offs, it's 77. Yes, he's got better defensive stats than Lindholm, but his face-offs are at a 77. I think I had, who did I have on here? I had Domi on here, and I switched Domi out for Dubé. They're about the same when you look at their defensive stats there. So I brought Domi in, put him up there with Monahan. Backlund was up here with Monahan, so I switched Backlund down there. And the only change I could make to our defense here on the PK was, again, just changing Rasmus Andersson around for Noah Hannafin. Again, just switching that up. Because these four defensemen, Valimaki, Andersson, Hannafin, and even Jomerson, these are still our four best defensive defensemen. Our only other defensemen on this team are Shillington, Forsling, and Gunnarsson, and they're not even close to what these four are on our team. That's why I said we're really missing another defenseman. We're missing a top defensive defenseman on this team for sure, and it shows right now. Again, that was supposed to be Nicholas Jomerson. That's why we went and got him in the offseason. We got him because he was a defensive defenseman, and he had decent defensive stats. You look at there, 89, 85, 84, but yet he's just not getting it done. So I think what we'll have to do is really go out there and find a legit, top four defenseman that is also defensive-minded, and that could really help improve our PK. But yeah, there's not much we could do this PK. I did the best I could here to that, and yeah, that's everything there. So, I mean, I just went out there and did the best I could to all those lines, to our pairings, to our special teams, because like I said, we looked at our stats there. It was not good at all, but I did the best I could. And again, what we're going to do here is, because it's still, still December, I think what we're going to do is finish off this month of December and then kind of get a better gauge of, if everything that we just did, all those changes we just did helped. If they have not helped at all, or they're still not making enough of a change, then we can go out and start making trades. But right now I'm going to let our new coaches put their new system into work here, and I'm going to let our new lines and new pairings and new special team lines see if that maybe changes things around, and then by the end of this month we'll have a better gauge of where we stand here in terms of everything here. So let me get a drink here. All right, so like I said, let's get right into simming then. Let's move move ahead here in some games played and see if we can see if there's a trend upward in all these categories that we are struggling in, and including in the standings that you can see. Hopefully we start to move up in the standings, and that will tell us that we're starting to do something good here. If not, like I said, our last option is to start making some trades here. We're not going to blow this team up either. Again, we can't panic. Even this year, even if we say we miss the playoffs this year, we can't really panic. I know that we're supposed to be winning a cup now and contending now. But we got to keep this realistic. We're not just going to go trade, all of our top forwards and defensemen and retool this complete team, because that's just not realistic. We're gonna, we're not going to panic here. We still have a lot of good young players. It just, I hope this is just not one of those years that they just decide to, not just decline and not play good. But we'll see. So let's get right into simming here. Like I said, we've made a lot of changes now. Let's see if we can start to see some results here. So let's get up to the Chicago game. And yeah, I think we'll go right up to, this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is 10 games at San Jose. So 10 games to the end of the year, the calendar year. I think let's play those 10 games and see if we can see a little bit of a change in result, and then we can maybe go from there and evaluate where we want to go. So let's get right into simming here. New look lines, new look coaches, everything. Let's see if we start to see some results here. So here we go. Game number 1 against Chicago. We'll sim this game. We'll go period by period. We're on a bit of a losing streak here. I don't even remember what the losing streak is, but here we go. First period, Calgary, Chicago. That's a little bit better. 3-1 after 20. Phillips, Dubé, and Lindholm. They get one from Alex Nylander. Second period here. They score. It's Alex DeBrincat. Do we hang on in the third? Come on, Calgary. We do. We hang on. So they get one from this Goudreau guy, but we get one from Backlund, and we hang on for a 4-3 win. So we'll take it. Just kind of see maybe how our new look lines here are doing. Hannafin on that top pairing now with Anderson, or Hannafin, excuse me. Anderson on that top pairing with Hannafin is what I meant to say. Just want to see Jummerson +2. That's a little bit better. Goaltending 912 for Binghamton. All right. Let's keep it going here. So that's a start. That's a start. Getting a win there. Getting 2 points. All right. So here's the other guy. This is the other assistant coach I want to try and get. So he doesn't feel that the size of the team's market is what he's looking for. So he's going to decline. So we need to hire another assistant coach. Crap. Okay. Do I want to do that now? Don't want to do that now. I better do that now. Just because we probably need a third coach in there. So let's go by assistant coaches. So those head coaches, this is the other stupid thing too, is like, say we wanted to hire one of these head coaches or even these associate coaches as an assistant coach. We can't, because you can only hire them for what they're listed. So these guys can only be hired for head coaches. These guys can only be hired for associate coaches. But say we liked this guy right here because he focuses on forwards and we want him to come run our power play and whatever. We can't hire him because we already have an associate coach. So like, it's kind of stupid. It doesn't make sense. But whatever. We got to go all the way down here till you find, we even got to go past AHL head coach, so we find an NHL assistant coach, which is all the way down here. And you can see the coaches here are not as good when you look at their overall as some of those associate coaches to pick from. But we have to just go with what it is. So let's try and find this guy. Maybe he focuses on forwards a bit. Like I said, we have a defensive head coach. We have a veteran associate coach. So why don't we try and get a guy that's more of a forward-based coach here? So let's try this guy here. This Kang guy, Owen Kang. Again, he's just coming in as an assistant coach, hopefully to run the power play or something. So we'll try him. Again, looking at his stats here, B- in terms of offense is, I guess, better than anything you'll find in here in that category. What's his PP at? PP is at a C-. So, I mean, not the best, but again, we can't hire anybody else because they're not listed as assistant coaches. So I don't like that part of it. You should be able to hire whoever for whatever position. Is what it is though. So let's move on here. Let's keep simming. Here we go. Colorado, Calgary, first period. 2-1 for the Avs. Makar and Kamarev. Backlund scores on the power play. Come on, Flames, second period. Crap. Yeah, this has been our season in a nutshell. 2 goals from McKinnon, Foligno, 5-1 Avalanche. Oh, just pouring out another 7-1 loss this season. That's our second 7-1 loss. Last time we lost 7-1, we had to fire our head coach. Yeah, so again, wheels just coming off completely in this one. Have no clue how and why. And this is the other most bizarre thing, is there's not guys that are like, say we lost 7-1, which we just did. There's not a guy that's like -5 or -6. The minuses have been spread out throughout all of our players, and that's kind of concerning because then you know it's not just coming from one area. It's coming from your entire roster. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's been a lot of games like that. Binghamton 8-2-1, not a good night for Binghamton. Wow. Yeah, so I mean, we can just continue to tweak with our lines, I guess. Like, I don't know what else to do here. Throw Domi up there, throw Lindholm there. We'll keep experimenting with Backlund in the top 6 role. Yeah, there's not much we can do. I mean, if you watch the last episode, we chaotically switched up that top 6 and still nothing. So, I mean, we still just gotta continue to hope that these players start to figure out. Like I said, right now it's up to these players to kind of figure it out. We have too many good players to. All right, so this guy, don't really like the makeup of your roster, but I would do my best to. Holy, okay. Geez, didn't have to be so harsh about it. Doesn't like the makeup of our. We're a Stanley Cup caliber roster, and you don't like the makeup of our roster? Do you not want to win a Stanley Cup? All right, so. Maybe, I don't know what this guy sees, because I know he's made me looking at our, like I was just talking about, looking at our stats from just this year. Maybe he doesn't like the fact that we don't have a lot of offensive players this year, but Jesus Christ, just look at some of these guys' stats, like Johnny Gaudreau and some of these guys, what they've done in the last how many years. I mean, we've got some of the best offensive players in the last 5 years on this roster, and you're telling me you don't like the makeup of our team? All right. But no, I can understand. They're not getting it done this year, and like I said, just before he accepted the role as assistant coach there, that we have to leave it to these guys to figure it out. They have to pick it up because they're too good not to. It doesn't make sense. Eventually they have to figure it out, and we're trying to give them as much games here as we can to let them figure it out. But I mean, right now it's just not looking good. Let's keep going here. Let's keep simming. We're gonna keep Binghamton in net, I think, the whole time here. There's no point putting Talbot in. He hasn't won a game this year, and he's significantly declining. We gotta let Binghamton find his way here and figure his own game out as well. So here we go. First period, Rangers Flames. Nothing. Second period, 1-1 Goudreau and Alex Chiasson. And third period, come on, Calgary, please. All right, we're going to overtime against the Rangers. Please, Flames, nothing. Shootout. We'll get in the shootout. Johnny Gaudreau. So he scores both the only goal of the game and the shootout. Again, just speaks to how much our offense is struggling, this year. Just one goal through, 3 periods in an overtime there. Binghamton 9-5-2. It's a hard game to kind of judge. All right, so we'll take the 2 points there in New York. Another game here against Chicago, whom we just beat. The thing here is we got to start stringing together wins, because we're going win, loss, win, loss. We got to start getting, like we did with the losses. We got to start, getting on a streak here and start getting some, getting some significant. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Start piling some wins together and gaining some significant ground on some of these other teams ahead of us. Again, looking at our, looking at the teams that are ahead of us. Again, not too far to reach. We're about 11 points back of the Coyotes and 13 points back there of the Canucks. I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, we can get this done. It's just going to take. We're going to have to go on a run here. We're going to have to start going on a streak and winning games. This would be a good time to just take a cluster of games here and start winning them. But here we go. Flames, Chicago, 2-2 after 20. Lindholm, Backlund for us. Former Flame Jankowski scores there. Second period, yes, 2 huge goals. Monahan, Mangiapane. We have to hang on in the third. Come on, Calgary. We do. That's a massive offensive third period for us. First time that we've ever scored 9 goals this season. Might be the first time that we scored north of, like, say, 6 or 5 goals. I don't even think we've... Yeah, I don't think we scored more than 5 or 6 goals, and maybe not even that much this season. We definitely have not scored 5 or 6 goals, but to score 9 goals in a game is huge. That's a huge third period. Hanifin, Tkachuk, Dubé, Domi, Bennett, a lot of guys scoring there. That's what you want to see. Much better game there. I'm not even going to look at the stats for this one. That's what you want to see. So that's 2 big wins against the Hawks and a win against the Rangers, and they're minus the 7-1 loss to the Avalanche. The last 4 games haven't been too bad. Still kind of very inconsistent. Here we go. Let's go to Carolina. Let's go to San Jose. What are we doing here? No, I don't want to go to calendar. All right. Like I said, this is a good part of the calendar to start, getting a lot of wins. They want to give us... Montreal's got Zdeno Chara, and they want to give us Zdeno Chara. Chara's not a defensive defenseman, is he? They want a second and a third, but... no, and I think he's, like, probably way too old, too. I just want to look. 81, yeah. Top 6. What is he listed? 2-way defender. It's not bad. He doesn't have the worst defensive stats. 86, 87, 87. But I think we can target a better, a better defenseman out there. And again, it would be for just for this year. I think he's got more term on his contract. He's like 45 years of age. Like, my God. All right. Here we go. So like I said, we got 2 wins in a row right now. 3 of our last 4. We need to start getting more wins. Here we go. Calgary, Carolina. First period, 1-1. Monahan, Pominville. Second period. Yes, 2-1. Mangiapane with a power play goal. All right, third period. Hang on, Flames. Hang on. Yes, we do. Valimaki adds to it, and we win 3-1. So there we go. 3 of our last 4 games, 3-game winning streak for the Flames. 4 of our last 5 games, 3-game winning streak for the Flames. Yeah, so that's starting to trend upward. That's what I said. We just gotta kind of let these guys figure it out. All right. Let's go goaltending. 9-7-0. Really good night there for Binghamton. All right, we got San Jose. Again, I'm going to keep Talbot, or not Talbot, I'm going to keep Binghamton in, at least till we figure things out here, before I give Talbot more games. All right. And Binghamton still gives us our best chance to win it each and every night. So right now, that's what we need is to win each and every night. All right, for the first time this season, I think we're on a winning streak. Oh, no, we did start the season off with a 5-game winning streak. That is right. But since then, I think this is our first, multiple-game winning streak. We're going for 4 games now here against the Sharks. And this is a divisional game, so we want every single divisional game. Obviously, there's not too many teams in our division that are behind us. They're all ahead of us, so we need to win these ones. All right, first period, huge first period there. There's Nicholas Jefferson, Mangiapane, Monahan. Second period, holy crap. We had such a good first period. What happened? Oh, man, they take the lead with a 3-goal second period. We need to fight back here in the third. This is a divisional game. We can't be losing these ones. Come on, Calgary, fight back, fight back. Fuck's sakes. Like, these are the ones that sting. These games right here. Games that you have to be winning. And you start off so good, and then, you know, we let them score how many unanswered. That is horrible. Crap. All right. Just look at the plus minus here. All right. Shillington, the bottom pairing, really struggling. Shillington, Gunnarsson. Again, not much we can do with that bottom pairing. They shouldn't be getting that much ice time to begin with. 8-7-8. Not a good night there for Binghamton. Yeah, I mean, that sucks. That's a divisional one you want to have. Like I said, we had some wins there in a row. It sucks to keep losing these. I'm just going to go and take Gunnarsson out of here, put Forsling in. It's really the only change we can do there. And they just continue to go forward here. So we got Buffalo. Excuse me. You can see we still sit 7th in our division. We are tied with the Ducks in points there, but yeah, still 7th in our division. Where are the Sharks? They are 41 points. So yeah, I mean, we gotta win all of our divisional games. That's what's going to really help us climb in the standings too. Is the divisional games. All right, let's go Buffalo. But at this point, like I said, our biggest concern for the Flames right now, really the only concern it should be, is just worrying about game by game, excuse me, and getting 2 points each and every night. That's all we can worry about. Not a good start to this one. Former Flame and former Bruin, Patrice Bergeron. Maybe we should have kept Bergeron in the offseason. I don't know. I don't know. Wilson scores for us second period. We get one from Kachuk. Can we tie it up in the third period? Come on, Flames. At least tie it up and get that point. We need points here at this point. Come on, Calgary. Come on. Yes, we do. We tie it up. We get a point. That's a huge power play goal by Johnny. Now let's see if we can get that extra point. We have to get that extra point. Come on, Flames. How about in a shootout? Yes, we do. We do. Goals from Gaudreau and Kachuk. We do have a really good, I will say this year, we do have a good shootout team. I think we might have won every single game we've played in the shootout. Again, that's just a guess. I have to go back and look at everything. But we may have won most of our shootout games, if not all of them this season. And I think overtime our record's pretty good too. We have some good guys, you know, that can really shine in overtime in the shootout. We just need them to get it done in regulation now. All right, so we'll take the 2 points out of Buffalo again, an Eastern Conference team. Don't mind giving a point there to Buffalo. It's that San Jose one that really hurt. Still, though, that's what, like 5 or 6 wins in our last 8, maybe. I don't know. That's not bad. We're starting to trend upward. Again, not seeing any results right now in the standings, but we're starting to get some wins here. Tied with the Ducks still in points. But yeah, we should, like, again, if we can just keep going here, we should start to trend up in the standings as well. So let's go Colorado, Calgary. They just beat us 7-1. Let's see if we can get some revenge here against the Avalanche. And then Dallas, and then it's the Christmas break there. So here we go. First period, Flames, Avs. 1-0 on goal by McKinnon. Just continues to burn our franchise. Second period. Fuck, 2-0 them. Do we have a big third period left? That's Calgary. We do. We tie it up, so that's huge. Wilson, Anderson, Shillington, they get another one from McKinnon. So it is nice to see that we do tie it up. We get a point. Can we steal that extra point? And I absolutely mean steal that extra point now from the Avalanche here in this one. Nothing in overtime. How about our nice shootout record? No. So that might be our first shootout loss of the season. We do get a goal from Johnny, but not enough. We do take a point out of this one. Probably had no business even getting a point out of this one. Colorado's got to be a good team. They got to be up there in their division. We should take a look at their standings there. Monahan goes -2. Johnny goes -2. Fourth line was in the pluses, but yeah, the top line was -2s there. Yeah, that's tough. Let's go Central here. Oh, the Avs are only 4th with 38 points. So wow, they're only actually 2 points ahead of us. We're at 36 points. They're at 38 points. Yet they're playing like they're such an elite team every time they play us. It just doesn't make sense. Huh. I thought Colorado would be a much better team. Let's just and don't forget, Colorado won the Stanley Cup last year. They're the defending champions. They beat us in the Western Conference Finals. McKinnon was lights out in that series, and they are Western Conference champion or Stanley Cup champions. Yeah, I mean that's kind of shocking. I guess for them too. Maybe they're not having as good of a season either. At just 38 points, they're fourth in the division. You can see we finally made it to 6th from 7th. We have surpassed the Ducks now. We have played 3 more games than the Ducks. But yeah, it's nice to see that we're starting to get a little bit of results there in the standings. Let's finish off this month, and then we'll get, like I said, a better gauge here of the trending, if we're trending upwards, which I think we are. I think we got is it just 2 games? Yeah, just 2 games left in this month. Dallas and then San Jose. So let's go here and see if we can get 4 points in these last 2 games here. All right, first period against the Stars, 2-0 Stars, VC and Lindell. Second period, make it 3-0 Stars from Pavelski. Do we pull back in the third? We do not. We get a goal from Mange. They get one from Ben. All right, so that's a tough loss yet again. Where are we struggling here? Yeah, lots of guys here in the minuses, like I said. Not much we can do. Binghamton 852. Huh. Yeah, we've got so many holes right now on this team. All right, let's sim up to this last game of the month. So I'm gonna look at this one because they're wanting to. They are asking for a first and a second though for Nate Schmidt, so I'm gonna decline that one. I was gonna look at it because it is a defenseman. See if Schmidt is a defensive defenseman, but what I'm gonna do is I think we're gonna end this episode here soon. I don't know how long it's been running, but I think I'll look at. I think we'll still go and target a defenseman here, but let's play the San Jose game and then let's go from there. All right, simulate. So this is, again, another divisional game that we have to get. We just lost to the Sharks not too long ago in a divisional game. We have to pick up this divisional game. So let's go Flames. Come on, we need this one. We can't afford to give up any points right now to anybody ahead of us in our division. So here we go. Flames, Sharks, we need this one. First period starts off good. Shillington makes it 1-0. Second period. Fuck, come on, Calgary. 2-1 Sharks. We have to pull away here in the third. We need at least 2 goals to get the win here in the third period. Come on, Flames. Come on, Flames. We tie it up. All right, Bennett gets us. Gets us to overtime. We do give a point to the Sharks, which really hurts, but we need this extra point. We need this extra point against San Jose. Come on, Flames. Nothing. How about in a shootout? Yes, we do get it in a shootout. So Chuck Monahan. But we still give up a point to the Sharks, which really hurts. We can't be doing that in our own division. 900 there for Binghamton. Yeah, Binghamton's I'm not going to lie, Binghamton has struggled for sure. And if things could get any worse here, we've got an injury to our top player, Johnny Gaudreau. Now, it is only till a third, so that's only a few days away, but still, that stinks. So right now, I'm just going to autofill that with whoever, and then I'll go in and fix all our lines. So I'll just autofill it with Nick Shore, and then I'll fix it off camera. Backdated lines 3-on-3. Oh my god, this is brutal. All right, 3-on-3 again. Just autofill it with whoever. Oops. Just autofill it with Dubé or something. All right, so yeah, we do pick up the 2 points there. Again, now that we're at the end of the month. Actually, you know what? Let's sim right up to this LA game so we get the standings exactly right as of January 1st, 2023. Yeah, as you can see now in the standings, we do sit now, or still a 7th in our division with 38 points. But again, I think we started to trend upward in this episode in the last 10 games there. You know, we're not too far back. I guess we're far back of, you know, say the Canucks up there at 51 points. But, you know, we're not too far back of some of these other teams. You know, if we can just start reeling some wins together, we should be able to climb back into it. But the biggest thing is, let's look at the calendar here. So again, we went since firing our head coach on the 21st of November, we went 3-4-0. That took us up to, I think that took us up to, where are we here? Well, let's look at the last 10 games here. Actually, we don't even need to look at this. We can just look at standing thing. Stat window, because it was exactly 10 games since that we played in this one. So let's go here. We can even just look at from our division. Go all the way to the right side here. Last 10 games, 6-3-1. There you go. That's trending upward. That's not bad. So after going 3-4-0 from firing our head coach after a 2-8-0 record, we go 3-4-0, and then we go 6-3-1. With our new head coach system, or our new coaching system, and our new look lines somewhat, our new look power play, our new look PK. So 6-3-1. That's not bad. We'll take it. Small sample size, but we'll take it for sure. When we go goals for per game, do we see any trend here in goals for per game? We're still fourth worst, so still in the bottom 5. That's obviously got pickup. Goals against per game. We are goals against per game. So we're still about middle of the pack. Again, probably just on the bottom side of the middle, but still, we might be seeing a little bit of trend there. 17% power play. I think that's a little bit better than what we had, isn't it? Yeah, I think we were at like a 13-something% power play to start this episode. So we are starting to see a lot of improvement in the power play. So that's good. Starting to see a lot of improvement, like I just said, and a 74.2% PK. Which is good enough for third worst. So again, that's progress. That is progress. We were dead last in the NHL in the PK to begin this episode. So through 10 games, we have seen our PK improve. We've seen our power play improve. Again, I think our goals for and goals against have kind of been around the same, but we're starting to see some improvement, which is good. Again, it's very small sample size, just 10 games played, since we started this episode, but we're starting to see improvement, and a 6-3-1 record overall will definitely show that we're starting to see improvement. Despite not seeing any movement in the standings just yet, that is a good sight. Kind of. It's still going to take a lot of work here in the year of 2023. January and February are definitely going to tell us a lot, because when we look here at the calendar here, let's take a quick look here. So we do have a bye week in here. But we got some games here in January, we got some games here in February, and then the trade deadline is here on the 8th of March. So we have to, be shown by this time that we are a contending team again, to make some big moves here at the deadline. It's going to be tough. There's a lot that could happen in these next couple of months, but we need to continue to improve in these next 2 months for sure, and kind of get back to, again, we don't have to lead our division this year. We don't have to win a President's Trophy or a division title. Be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen, especially with where we sit now. We just need to get back in the playoff picture in these next couple of months, and then we can kind of see by here and gauge if we're going to be a contender by the playoffs. What I think we will do though is to start off this calendar year, I think we might still make a trade and bring in a legit top 4 defenseman. I don't think it can hurt. Yes, we're trending up now, but I think it might just improve us if we bring in a top 4 defenseman, a defensive defenseman, for the right price and for the right guy. That will allow us to bump Jomerson down, to a bottom 6 row, and will allow us to put in a proper defenseman. And then I think with this offense, we're just going to leave it as is for now and continue to let them figure it out. Again, they're not performing well offensively compared to what they should be doing at all. It's not even close, but still kind of let them figure it out. And then closer to trade deadline, what I'm thinking is that's when we start to bring in, somebody else, that can really play in this top 6, top 9, maybe like a sniper that can score some goals here, because that's obviously what we're missing in our offense. But for now, I think the biggest focus is maybe if we can move Jomerson here down to, with Shillington down there in the bottom pairing, and bring in a legit defensive defenseman here on the second pairing. I think that could do wonders for this team. Just to start, maybe start to plug a little bit of the defensive holes. I don't want to say a lot of it's on Binghamton, but if we can see Jordan Binghamton, continue to improve, he's still 905, 303 goals against is not that great. But if we can see Binghamton start to improve a little bit as well, if he can start to figure it out as well. Again, 89 overall, reigning Vezina Trophy winner. This guy is too good to be playing, the way he is as well. If he can figure it out, I think that will plug a lot of defensive holes. But if we bring in another defenseman, I think that will help. And then again, with our offense, we'll kind of let them, figure it out over the next couple months. Providing we continue to trend upward like we did in the last 10 games. But then, maybe closer to trade deadline, we can look to bringing in, another offensive weapon for this team. So I think that will do it for this episode here, episode number 30. Not the most exciting episode. We only simmed 10 games, but a lot of what happened in this episode was, trying to, pick ourselves up from what happened in the last episode and start to trend upward. And I think we did that. 6-3-1, over that span. I think that was good. We started to see a little bit of improvement, but the biggest thing here was just seeing, getting some, letting our coaching staff and our players start to figure themselves out a little bit here as well. So we'll end this episode here, episode number 30, and we will pick up the